In the days of King Saul, the people of Israel were like a family on the run. They wandered in faraway lands, not knowing what tomorrow would bring. But the biggest problem wasn't finding a place to stay. It was an enemy they couldn't beat, the Philistines. They tried and tried, but every time Israel's army fought against them, they lost.
Ho, ho, ho!
One day, the Philistines set up their camp in a place called Elah Valley. And there was one guy in their group who made everyone scared, a giant named Goliath. Just hearing his name made your blood run cold. Goliath was more than 9 feet tall, taller than any player in the NBA. He was well built and wore heavy armor. It shone like shiny, bright metal in the sunlight. And instead of a helmet, he had this big metal hat that looked like a bull's head.
Ho, ho, ho!
You can picture how scary that must have been for the Israelites to see him marching around. He would yell loudly enough for people to hear him from far away. He would say, "Hey, you Israelites, send out a fighter to meet me. If he beats me, we'll become your servants. But if I beat him, you have to become our servants." Can you imagine how awful that must have sounded to the Israelites? Every day for 40 long days, Goliath would do this.
Ho, ho, ho!
He was like a bully who picked on someone weaker than him. The Israelites were really scared of this giant. Not even their best fighters wanted to go up against him. That's how scary he was. Now the Israelites had some pretty big and brave warriors like Eliab, Abner, and Ishbosheth. All their names mean strong and brave. But even they were too scared to fight Goliath. No one could defeat him, no matter how hard they tried. So they were stuck being scared of him every day.
Ho, ho, ho!
One day, King Saul was feeling very upset and frustrated. He was watching Goliath dancing around like he was the king of the world, and it was making him crazy. So he said, "Look, anyone who defeats that bully Goliath, I'll make them a really important leader in Israel. I'll give them lots of money and land, and I'll let them marry my daughter. And no one would blame them if they decided to run away. Man, that would have been a great prize for anyone, right?"
Ho, ho, ho!
Now, one day there was a big fight between the Israelites and the Philistines. And once again, Goliath started yelling those same old scary words. Everyone was so scared that no one from Israel stepped forward to fight him. But then someone did something kind of funny. A young boy named David came running over to King Saul. David was just a shepherd, taking care of his sheep, and his family had sent him to bring food to his older brothers who were fighting in the war.
Ho, ho, ho!
But when he heard Goliath shouting and saw everyone too scared to do anything about it, he got really mad. So David asked King Saul, "Why aren't you guys doing anything to stop him? Why aren't you beating up this big mean guy?" King Saul replied, "Oh man, we've tried so many times to stop him, but nobody can. Our best fighters are too scared to try." But David said, "Well, don't worry, I'll take care of him." King Saul and all the other soldiers were really surprised.
Ho, ho, ho!
They thought this young kid was joking. But David was serious. He told King Saul, "I used to take care of animals back home, and when a lion or a bear tried to hurt my sheep, I would fight it and protect them. And God helped me win every time. So I know he'll help me beat this big bad guy too." At first, King Saul didn't believe him, but David kept insisting he could do it. So finally King Saul gave in and let him try.
Ho, ho, ho!
But first, he wanted to help David look like a real warrior. So he put his armor on him. But it was no good. The armor was way too heavy and big for David. It was meant for an adult, not a little kid. So David took it off and said, "I can't fight while wearing this heavy stuff. I'm going to do it my way. King Saul thought this kid was out of his mind. But David wasn't worried. He knew he didn't need fancy armor or weapons to win.
Ho, ho, ho!
David went over to a nearby stream and picked up 5 really smooth stones. He put them in his bag and took his old shepherd's stick. Then he walked into the valley where Goliath was waiting for him. When Goliath saw David coming toward him with just a stick, he started laughing. "Are you serious? Are you gonna fight me with sticks? You must be kidding me. Maybe I'll be a little nicer this time. Tell me, which one do you want to die first?
Ho, ho, ho!
Your friend's here, or maybe you want to be the first one to die. You can decide." David said, "You keep laughing, big guy, but I'm gonna beat you. And then you'll regret it. In fact, the whole world will know that God is great. It's not the size of the weapon or the armor that matters. It's the one who uses it." Then David ran fast toward Goliath, who was still laughing and having fun. But David was sneaky and he dodged Goliath's attacks.
Ho, ho, ho!
He reached into his bag, grabbed a rock, put it in his sling, and threw it with all his strength. The rock flew through the air like a speeding car and hit Goliath right in the middle of his forehead. It was like a loud bang in a drum. The rock was so heavy that the giant fell down with a big crash. He tried to stand up, but his knees wouldn't let him. He looked at David with angry eyes, but then he fell down on his face and died.
Ho, ho, ho!
Everyone watching was shocked and amazed. No one could believe that a small boy had beaten a giant warrior. The Israelites started cheering and shouting, "Let's go, David! Let's go, David!" They were so happy that someone had finally defeated Goliath. The Philistines, on the other hand, were really scared. They started running away. They didn't want to be there anymore. And that's when the Israelites knew they had won the battle. As for David, he became a hero of Israel.
Ho, ho, ho!
King Saul kept his promise and gave him lots of nice things. But for David, the best part was knowing that he had done something great for God and for his people. He didn't need fancy things to be happy. After that day, whenever David heard Goliath's mean voice echoing in his dreams, he would remember that he had defeated him. And that made him smile. Even though Goliath was scary, David knew that with God on his side, he didn't need to be afraid.
Ho, ho, ho!
So that's the story of David and Goliath. Remember, no matter how big and scary our problems may seem, we can be brave and solve them with the help of God. We don't need to be scared. David was just a regular guy, but he had faith in God. And because of that, he was able to do extraordinary things. The same is true for us. We may face giants in our lives, but with faith in God, we can overcome any challenge.
Ho, ho, ho!
Don't be afraid to be brave. Have faith in yourself and in God, and you'll see that you can achieve amazing things, just like David. So remember, with God on our side, no giant is too big for us to defeat. Thank you for joining us today for this exciting story. If you enjoyed this adventure with David and Goliath, show us by giving this video a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss out on new stories. Catch you later. Bye.
Ho, ho, ho!